Hi, I'm Felicia with Felicia Paints, and I'm so glad you're here today. Let's talk about cleaning up our materials. So when you're finished painting, you've got all these supplies and you're like, all right, what do I do with all this stuff, right? So you want to make sure you take care of everything. When you take care of your supplies, they'll last you a really long time. All of the materials that come with Felicia Paints watercolor kits are really good materials. They're student grade or higher quality, just so that you've got the right materials to create what you need to create and have a project that you can be proud of. So when you're finished painting, of course, you've got your beautiful painting. You can go and you can hang that up, put it on your fridge, give it to your cute elderly neighbor. I'm sure she would love it. So whatever you want to do with your painting, absolutely do that, but make sure you take care of your supplies so that they'll last you a while. So we're going to talk about what to do with everything really quick, and then just make sure you do that when you're finished painting. So first off, we've got our water jars. If you've got one of these awesome water jars from Felicia Paints, you can grab them at feliciapaints.com/shop. The link is in the description below. But if you have one of these cool water jars, one thing that you want to watch out for is the paint that likes to get stuck. Do you see those colors in there? I hope you can see them. The paint that likes to get stuck in the edges, all right? So this probably happens with whatever water jar or cup that you're using at home as well. But if that paint dries on there, the next time that you go to paint, so let me just show you. If I go like this and all right, I'm gonna wipe off my brush right here, and then look, there's some blue, and maybe I didn't want blue. So make sure when you are cleaning your water jars that you clean out the whole thing. Like throw them in the dishwasher if you need to, scrub them out by hand, rinse them out really good, but you don't want to just dump the water out, because that color will dry on there and you'll pick it up on your next painting and it might not be what you want. So make sure you clean those out really well. Next up, after that, let's bring this back real quick, is we want to clean out our paintbrushes. Okay, so we've got all these beautiful paintbrushes. What are we gonna do with them, right? So when you clean your paintbrush out, you can like kind of lightly scrub it on the bottom. You can run it through water. You want to use clean water when you're cleaning your paintbrushes out. But once you've got those clean, you can see, let me pull this over here. A brand new paintbrush is gonna be totally white, but your used paintbrush, it's gonna hold on to some of that pigment. It just stains the bristles, and that's okay. As long as when you take this and you've cleaned it out, you come over here and you wipe it off. If that water runs clear, your paintbrush is good to go. Okay, so once it runs clear, you want to kind of use a paper towel to reshape your paintbrush into its original shape. So right here, this is pretty close to that original shape. We've got that nice flat on both sides. After you're done with that, you can store your paintbrush flat. You can store it standing up, or if you have somewhere to hang it upside down, just make sure that the bristles aren't touching the surface below. If they're touching the surface below, they're gonna dry in a weird way, and it'll just reduce the quality of your paintbrush. So when you're cleaning out these round paintbrushes, you want to do the same thing. You want to clean them out really good, but once you're done cleaning them out, specifically clean them out in water. If you have brush soap, awesome. But when you shape these ones, you want to kind of roll them as you pull it out to shape those, so that you roll that back into a point. And again, your paintbrush is going to start out white and it's going to turn different colors, and that's okay. So as long as it's running clear, your paintbrush is good to go. So make sure you shape those back into a point, and again, store them standing up, store them laying down like this, or hanging upside down, as long as nothing is touching underneath them. So just take care of those. These paintbrushes will last you so long if you take care of them. So make sure that you take care of those brushes. With your paint wells, I like to take just a paper towel, the same one that I was using when I was painting, and I'll just go in and I will clean out most of that paint. So you can see most of the paint is out, but there's still some on there. Even when I wipe this off, most of that paint is off, but there's still a little bit on there. At this point, I'll take it into a sink somewhere and I will just run trickles of water. If you run more than trickles of water, what happens is that water pops into this paint well and hits like that and just goes everywhere. So you'll get paint and water all over yourself, your kitchen, your bathroom. So you don't want to do that. Just make sure you use a trickle of water so that it's not going everywhere. You can also submerge these, scrub them out. You can use dish soap on these if you want to, totally fine. Take care of these, they'll last you a long time too. With your paints, you want to make sure that the lids are on tight. Okay, so lids are on tight, lids are on tight. Otherwise, they might like tip over if the lids are not on tight, and they could totally spill. You can see there's some paint in the cap there. That will happen and it'll start to leak out the side. So make sure they're on tight, so if they happen to fall over, they're fine. I would recommend storing these upright like this, but if they do tip over, as long as that cap's on, it's totally okay. with any tube paints that you get, you want to make sure also that that lid is on tight. Okay, so that lid should be on nice and tight. If it's not on tight, this paint will start to dry out. If it dries out too much, it can be really hard to get out of the tube. So make sure that these are on tight so that you can use them in the future. So make sure, yeah, take care of your paint, store them, store your paints in like room temperature place. You don't want them to get too hot or too cold. When they freeze, the color can crystallize. If they get too hot, it can kind of just reduce the quality of the color. Lastly, we've got our awesome scratch papers here. You can just toss these if you don't want to use them, but they can make super fun bookmarks. So imagine this one. If I just popped this out, and I could use a paper cutter to make sure this is really actually straight, but we're just gonna go for it like this. But they make super fun bookmarks. You could take this and you could just like write like read down it. Read with a little heart. You could do it with Sharpie or something so it shows up better. You could paint it on there, whatever you're gonna do, but they make super fun bookmarks. So if you need some bookmarks, highly recommend your scratch paper. They're just got a really cool abstract background and they're fun to put stuff on. So you can recycle these, do whatever you want. You can flip them over, use the other side, all sorts of cool things, make cards with them. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to paint with you. Have a wonderful day.